is Sara Shikhman. I'm an attorney here in New York, and I'm the host of this show called Real Talk with Sara. And today we have a special guest. Her name is Schweiger. I've known her for years, and she's the founder and owner of the art studio in New York. And she's going to tell us a little bit about what she does and how she got started.
Hi, Sara. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you. So tell us about your business. Why did you start it? How did you get the idea?
I started the art studio in New York 15 years ago. And I began it because I wanted to make a very large impact in people's lives through creativity and art.
Rebecca, tell us, what's your typical day at work like? How does your day start? How does it end? What do you typically do?
I don't really have a typical day. Every day is different, and I think that that's part of what I love. I always say owning and running a business or starting a business is never boring. And I actually, every now and then when a day is boring, I welcome it. It's like a nice pause. I start my day before even heading to work. I have a morning practice. So I try to not turn my cell phone on for the first hour of the day. And I have a meditation practice, and I do some yoga in the morning, or I'll exercise. And I like to have a hot cup of tea and read some sort of book that I find nourishing. I try to really fill myself up at the beginning of the day before I'm in giving mode.
And what's been a really hard day for you at work, like a recent hardest day, let's say in 2019?
I think a hard day has more to do with where my mindset is. So one thing I've recognized in running a business and having a business is the need for self-care. And it's almost like when you're flying in a plane and they say to put your oxygen mask on first before you help others. So I've learned, and I think I continue to learn, that I really, really need to keep my cup full. In times when I don't, times when I'm running a little ragged, it's immediately a harder day. And so there are always challenges. However, if I am taking good care of myself, I'm much better able to handle everything. When I'm not taking good care of myself, I'm tired, I'm not eating well, I'm not going to the gym, I'm not giving myself enough time to replenish, then all of the regular sort of stresses in business feel much bigger.
So what makes the art studio in New York different from the typical paint night business?
Mm-hmm. We are definitely very different than paint night. Paint nights have popped up all over the world, certainly all over the United States and cities everywhere. While we do offer what I would call a paint and sip night, or we have a date night, which is really, really fun, our focus is much more soulful. Our focus is really creating a safe, encouraging, and inspiring space for you to let go of stress, connect more to who you are as a person, and have the freedom to very authentically express yourself while experimenting and learning and growing.
I really find that with paint night, you may walk out and you're tipsy and you're feeling good, but it doesn't really go deep into your soul and doesn't really make you feel good long term, whereas something like what you guys do, it's more healing for you and it's really transformative over time, not like a one and done type of thing.
Absolutely. The way I look at it as it's art or our approach to creativity is soul food.
I've noticed a lot of entrepreneurs have this very charismatic personality, similar to what you have, but you have it to even a higher extent. So can you tell us more about, where does that come from? Is that from your parents or from a former boss? Or you just seem like this very warm and happy person. How can more people be like you? Where does it come from?
Well, thank you. I definitely feel that I'm a warm person. If I'm being honest, I'm not happy 24 hours a day. I think certain things can be learned. And I think certain things certain qualities are inborn. I think also there's a sense of understanding, for me, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses. And if I can develop, or if I can be aware of what my weaknesses are, so let's just say I'm shy, which I'm not, but let's say I am. There are ways to overcome that and change that. And I think that is really empowering when we realize that We are the artists of our lives, and we can create and change and grow. And so if someone is wanting to be more outgoing or more charismatic, there are classes or books or ways that one can play with that to transform one's own self, which I think is really awesome.
I love that. We are the artists of our own lives.
We absolutely are. And if we can look at our lives like a canvas and look at ourselves like the artists, then really it's a creative process, like moment by moment by moment. And actually that's how I look at business as well.
So what are 3 things that you know about running a business now that you wish you would have known when you first started?
I learned about like 500 things. I think the first thing is trust myself, trust my gut deeply. There have been decisions that I've made going into the decision where something felt a little off and I doubted myself. So really trusting myself, not needing to explain to others my why, just knowing this is my business. I can make whatever decisions that I want, and if it doesn't feel right intuitively, I'm not doing it. So that is huge. The other huge thing is working with a mentor or mentors, finding people who I respect, who are so many miles ahead of me, working with people who are having a mentor who can really guide me.
So what's the next business challenge that you're planning to tackle?
I would say there are 2. Step out of the daily operations of the business so that I can fully focus on what excites me. I think that's everybody's dream in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do the stuff that I don't enjoy. I don't want to do the dishes, and I don't like doing my laundry, and paying bills is boring. There are always things that need to be done regardless, but within the business, the day-to-day operations, I want to step out of more and more and more so that I can focus my energy not only on what I enjoy, but what I'm really good at. That will allow the business to grow and it will feel more fulfilling for me. The other challenge, or let's say new path that I'm carving, is I am at the beginning stages of creating an online leg of the Art Studio New York. And my goal is to create classes and really a program and community of people who are worldwide wanting to feel encouraged, inspired, and challenged to be more creative in their life. So I'm at the very beginning of that. And I will say, I always think things are going to be faster and easier than they actually are, which is either denial or
makes you a really great entrepreneur.
Or it has helped me absolutely, because if I really always knew how much time, energy, and effort and challenge something would take, I probably wouldn't do it.
And I'm sure as you've gotten more experience doing things, it takes shorter and shorter. So it's kind of
absolutely
it's becoming true.
Absolutely. I'm learning to work smarter, not harder. That is constantly my goal. And so I think that that's a challenge that is incredibly worthwhile.
And tell me about something that's been a big challenge in your business and how you persevered.
I think one of the biggest challenges in my business was having someone working with me that I really, really trusted leave the business, start her own business, and ultimately rip off my entire business.
And so there was a sense of obviously trust, that's certainly a big betrayal, and a sense of like, wow, I worked so hard for so many years to get this business like finely tuned, and then someone just like took the whole thing. I decided to take the high road and ultimately felt like, you know what, my attitude is abundance and there's enough in the world for everyone, and if she's able to spread something really positive and impact people's lives positively, more power to her. However, I think
I think the challenge is a metaphor for hiring the right people, trusting the right people, developing relationships with the right people, and what does it mean to really build a very solid team. That in general is challenging because you don't really know a person.
Right, until you see them in really tough situations over time.
Absolutely.
But you know yourself.
Absolutely.
What is something that you think young entrepreneurs need to know before starting a business?
I think that people need to recognize that entrepreneurship is incredibly fulfilling and it's a lot of work. It's really, you're raising a child, at least in the first number of years. I don't know if this is going too far, but if you're really wanting your business to succeed, it's around the clock. It's nonstop. It doesn't end. And the amount of work and the amount of grit and also the amount of times that you have to be willing to fail and you have to have the perseverance to get up and to keep going. And so I think that being realistic about what it takes to achieve a dream, and you have to be willing to take all of the steps. There are really no shortcuts. And so if you're willing to go all in, and whatever that means and whatever that is, amazing, go for it. If you're looking for like a joyride, like the easy way, it's not easy and it's not all joy.
Yeah, then you should stick to your corporate job that's 9 to 5 and
Right.
then you can go home and have joy or whatever.
Exactly.
And then when you're taking a vacation or a break as an entrepreneur, how does that work? Like when I've gone on vacation and I had to leave my business behind, I find myself on the beach, on my phone, in front of my computer.
Right.
How do you do it? Do you bring your phone or... I've seen some really beautiful pictures from Africa. I'm very curious.
I think I've developed over time the ability to let go. And again, if it were the first 3 or 5 years of business when I went on vacation, I had my laptop, I had my phone. I actually once was in Tulum, Mexico, and with my laptop thinking like, I'm not even gonna take this out. And our entire website and a lot of our business is e-commerce, and our website was infected with a virus. And here I am thinking, oh, I'm so glad to be on the beach. It's so relaxing. Like, it was not relaxing. I was sitting on the beach with my laptop nonstop until 11 o'clock at night. However, the business is in a place now where I have a really solid team of people who I really like, I really trust, and they understand the business. And I am able to shut my phone off. I took the chance. I took the leap of, here's what I want to create. I want to create the ability to let go, to step back, to go away for a week or a weekend or a month and really put things in place so that I can do that. And again, it didn't happen overnight. It was over the course of years. And actually, when employees of mine go on vacation, we have a bit of a do not be in touch policy. It's something that we all want to create for each other. And so I think that that's a big piece too.
I found in business there's the 80-20 rule with everything. So you have your 20% best clients that you get 80% of your revenue from, and you have your 20% best staff. So how do you feel about getting rid of the rest, right? Is that hard?
I think it has to do with my own personality. I'm like a little bit of a softie, and I want to believe in people. And on the other end of the spectrum, I find myself as a woman being aware of, like, there's a double standard. Like, if you're a man, you're stern. If you're a woman, you're a bitch. Mm-hmm. And I don't like coming across as a bitch. So I don't love firing people. And actually something that I've learned is that sometimes it's just not a good fit. It's like sometimes you have to break up with your boyfriend because it's not working out.
Yeah, he'll be better off with somebody else. It's not that he's
a bad for person. Everyone.
Yeah.
With staff, I think that yes, like when someone's not a good fit, and this is a mistake I've made, of keeping people around longer than they should. Because when someone's not a good fit, that spreads, that affects everyone. It is such an immediate domino effect. And so it's bad for everyone, and it's bad for them. So at this point, I have learned when someone as a staff member is not a good fit, it's not about their, personality. It's not that I don't like them. It's just not a good fit. It's not personal. Don't make it personal. So I have changed a lot. At this point, I am not afraid to, cut the cord.
Give them the freedom to be at a better place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. With clients, it depends. In the service-based industry world, there's a thought that, the client is always right even when they're wrong. I like the challenge. I find that I'm really skilled at working with people who are like the worst pain in the butts on the planet and like somehow turning it around to build an environment that is enjoyable for me, let's say, and one where that person is really growing and thriving. So I've had a number of those. But yeah, there have been clients or students where like it's just not working and it's okay.
So we're sitting here in front of one of your beautiful paintings.
Thank you.
So tell us about this. How did you get the idea? What is it? I'm just really curious about what it is.
Sure. I'll be happy to share that with you. This painting is really about the mystery of life. It's really reverberating almost like a ripple out into the world. And all of these other patterns and circles and colors represent a life form. So like maybe these are all the people in the universe or all of the animals or anything living. And that there's this sense of, for me, there's this sense that life is one big symphony and that each of us have our own color and own texture and own voice and own purpose. And it's only when everybody is really living that and really living their life and living their own journey where all of these differences come together and create something very, very beautiful. And then at the core of that, for me, there is a sense of like really staying true to myself. And if I stay true to myself and live my purpose, that really moves through the world. And there's this sense of like, we're all in this ecosystem and we're all in it together.
That's really beautiful. What's like a final piece of advice that you would give to people who maybe already have a business, but it's not going as well as they'd like it to, or are thinking of starting a business?
For me, I would say courage and bravery. Like, be courageous, be brave, and stay true to yourself. I think that in general, we as human beings will naturally feel fear, and yet fear does not have to stop you. You can be brave and you can be courageous and you can really stay true to yourself and expand. And I'm most excited about expansion and transformation and pushing that edge farther and farther and farther. I think that's really where the magic is. And so my suggestion would be like really harnessing your courage and your bravery to create something bigger and better and more expansive.
Thank you. Beautiful answer from a beautiful person.
Thank
Just
you.
a pleasure interviewing you, really, truly. You're great. You're great. Like, I think you'll be successful at everything that you do. I can just like feel it, And you already are. So it's awesome.
Well, the feeling's mutual.
Thank you.